Okay, now boys say, let's take a look. We're holding page Reish Tzaddik Gimel. Page Reish Tzaddik Gimel. Let's do it quickly from the beginning. Dinit Tefillah Mussaf B'Shabbos. Page Reish Tzaddik Gimel. Zman Tefillas Mussaf Maschu Miyadach until the Shachar. The time for davening Mussaf starts right after Shachar. After Mispal Shachar B'Boyke Miyadach Shiki Zmana Yechol Gam Ki Mispal Mussaf Beisahi. Shizmana Krobas Al Mussaf Maschu Miyadach Krobas Lama B'Boyke. As soon as one davens, even one davens the earliest time possible, right after he davens, they're allowed to daven Mussaf. Mussaf doesn't have a beginning time. The time is after Shachar. Because bringing Tamid, the carbon Tamid, it starts right after Mussaf carbon is brought after the Tamid. The first thing in the morning has to be a carbon Tamid. Afterwards is the carbon Mussaf. Mussaf means additional carbon that brought for that day, for Shabbos, for Yom Tov, for Shchodesh, whatever the day is. However, there is a point that Mussaf has an ending point. Ein la'achar tfilas Mussaf yois misheva shois ala yoim, and shah achar chatzois. One should not delay davening Mussaf more than 7 hours into the day, which means 1 hour after chatzois. This 1 hour does not mean 60-minute hours. Misha is maniyos hour.
Second, he shouldn't delay
davening Mussaf. Mussaf soif zman Mussaf v'chatchila is 7 hours into the day. It means an hour after chatzois, which would mean today's time is 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Most people finish Mussaf way before 2.
Yeah, about Rosh Hashanah, like there's something.
Yom Kippur.
Seems like Yom Kippur. There's some yeshivas. Seems like they start after. Maybe.
Oh, what's the hatter? Ama'acher kokach mikra pesheya. You call the pesheya negligent. Afa bikain yoitzi deichavasei. Yoitzi pishes mana kolayim. The zman is a whole day for Mussaf. So if b'diavad you don't have a choice, you have a davening is taking very long. It's a yom roim and everything. Okay, so you're not a pesheya. It's an oinus. Time is taking longer. Yeah. It's not a pshia.
So what? Even let's say you are a pesheya, should you?
A lot of times also you might have finished your tefillah b'lacha Mussaf before 2, but it's usually the tefillah of Chazaras Hashatz of Mussaf that takes a long time. All the piyutim and the singing usually. What time do Yashana people usually finish? 2:33, right? 2:30 and 3:30.
Some of these literacy yeshivas, as past
Depends on the
they start. They made outside. They start davening at 8, and they could finish like at
3:30.
Depends where. Mir is a little later.
So listen again, Oinus, they woke up on time, they're trying their best.
Good, the keys didn't work.
You know, there's certain rebbes that don't finish till Shkia, you know.
Right. Some rebbes which don't start till.
They say the Racham Stivke Rebbe in Eretz Yisrael, he doesn't finish Mamish the Shkia. They go home to eat by Shkia.
The Ribnitzer and also now the
Am Shalover.
Shinover in the United States, famous.
There was one of the Rebbes, but by one of the Rebbeim, one of the Chabad Rebbes, someone was speaking about how one of the big tzaddikim would have his own times, his own Seidos Manim. So he said that was either Alter Rebbe commented or some Tzedek commented that was the Seder before Matan Torah. After Matan Torah, does Manim. But you had some of those tzaddikim, and we know that the Rebbe was always very makbul with man, except there were certain times in the later years when there also was Himmeldik Azachin in the later years and certain things. Now,
so let's say it's Pesheya and he didn't. So now,
half of the game, you're it's the Chavasik. She's not a koyim, you got a daven still. Afilum kai hischol mincha, even ispal mincha, even if you daven mincha already, choizer mispal Mussaf, you have to daven Mussaf again. So even if by accident you daven mincha first, forgot to have a Mussaf, you still have to have a Mussaf.
In the base of Midrash, if you brought the korban mincha, you could still bring the korban mussaf.
No.
So why over here are you allowed to do that? It's representing the Muslim. It mentions the karbanis inside.
We're not so machmer with the Evid. We meaning we look at Tchila, Masakin, and connected the karbanis. But the Evid, we're Meiko. We're Meiko with Tefillah more than with the carbon. Ve'im shachach v'lispalo yisat shechashecho, ein lo tashlumen k'mei sheyesh l'shar tefillas. If someone forgot to have Mussaf till it became dark, there is no tashlumin like you are to other davening. Other davenings we say you can make up the davening. Someone in Mishachris by accident can daven two tefillas milchas. He missed milcha daven two meiros. Mussaf you can't make up Mussaf.
Why not? Why is Mussaf different from Mincha Shachris?
Because Mussaf is be'ikr the keneged the carbon Mussaf. Other tefillas is an inyan of davening 3 times a day, regardless of the fact that it's keneged carbon. Two aspects to it. Mussaf is primarily corresponding to the carbon because Mussaf we read the actual psukim that discuss the karbanis that are brought on that day, whether it's Shabbos, Yom Tiv, we always read the psukim in the middle. The Shchodesh. Mashenki in other tefillas we don't read the carbon tam the psukim in Shemona Esrei. So it's much more intrinsically connected to the carbon. And therefore, since you can't, the zman of the carbon is over, so once it's at night, you can't read it. Once it's daytime, it's still the zman of the carbon, even though I daven mincha earlier, but it's still the zman of the carbon yoim, it's still yoim. Still yoim, you can still daven Mussaf. But once it's night, you can't daven. Gimel, im avar v'spalais according to the shpal shachar, it's a bigger chiddush. You daven Mussaf before Shacharis yatsa. So just like if you daven mincha, you still could daven Mussaf. Before Shacharis, you could also daven Mussaf at the Evid.
But why do you call it Mussaf? It's after Tubak.
No, Mussaf means...
It's out of order altogether.
Out of the order, but Mussaf means... Look, he says...
It's out of context.
Kol mokim et tefillah lo... After carbon, Mussaf give you according to the Shachar Apostle. Kol mokim et tefillah, yichmiru kol kach, yizchoizem espal, lohoyim espal, b'yit yishar, hu yilakro. Since he davened at a time which was right to bring karbanas by daytime, even though he did it before the tefillah, we're not so machmir. The only thing more makbid is that Mussaf should be biyoyim. But the Evid, whenever you daven it during the day, you yoytze. If you daven it after mincha, or you daven before Shacharis, but the Evid yoytze Mussaf.
And wherever, to be a different place?
Yeah, different place, yeah.
I was in a shul one time and there was a chazan. He came late. Like really yesterday. So they asked him to daven Mussaf. He said he didn't daven Shachris. He said it doesn't matter, go. He went ahead and he daven Mussaf.
Someone told him.
Yeah. I was like surprised. How do you
Now you know the din. Now you know the din that you could do it with the Evid. So you could tie that if you have no shots, for some reason he had an oinus, he couldn't be there, no shots. So
There was a
it's
bar mitzvah. There was a bar mitzvah, and the father of the bar mitzvah boy wanted a nice chazan. It was a big chazan. So it doesn't look like that.
So I don't know if that's considered a shot at chag, but what Ma'is is, let's say you daven tefillas Yamnei Royim. Yamnei Royim. You daven Yamnei Royim or something, for some reason you don't have a shliach tzibur for Mussaf. There's that early minyan davening, and they're not a shach, and this guy's going to daven a later Shacharis. He didn't daven Shacharis yet, but they need someone to daven Mussaf. So they could say, but the Evid yoytze, call shots of chag give the Evid dam. Anytime a shots of like with the Evid. Teichel tzibura, we have a whole minyan here. It's a mitzvah the rabbin. We don't have anything to daven for the Amid. Mela regular Mussaf on Shabbos. That's already a shver mice. Everyone could daven Mussaf. But Yamnei Royim, you need someone to know the nusach. So you could hack a time up, he this din, and let him daven earlier.
What did it come from? He has b'shas atchak, but if he davens Mussaf, he's going to miss man Shacharis. But the b'shas atchak, they don't have a tzibur they have with Mussaf. So what's the do?
Now you need a Rav to call that shot. He said,
You're a Rav, that's why I'm asking.
a bigger Rav. You need to be cut. You need to be. You know, over here, you need to know whether you could say to a person that he should sin for another person's mitzvah. So there's a discussion in Gemara whether you're allowed to say chatei b'chdei sheyizkeh chavercha. You're allowed to tell someone to sin in order that someone else
Right.
The sugi about taking out bread. The way the bread used to be put on the oven those days, they have a way how they reduce sapat. They had a special way how the bread was attached to the walls of the
Stuck
oven.
to the walls of the oven. That's all
Right. What happens if someone put it in before Shabbos, and you see it's there? It's going to stay in. No, if you put it there on Shabbos, and if it stays in,
It's going to bake.
it's going to bake.
But
So if you pull it out, it's not going to be over. You take it out.
But then,
But if you take it out, you're being over an Issa D'Rabbanan of taking it off the walls. It's a certain type of malacha of taking it off the walls of the oven. Rediyas Apas. So you're allowed to say Chatei b'chadei sheyizke chavercha. So there's a whole sugi about this. And no question about it, that a mitzvah the rabbim, one of the Toysis over there says, the Gemara there says, Ein oimim loy la'adam chatei b'chadei sheyizke chavercha. We don't say it.
On one.
Shaila is, there's other Gemaras which are mashma differently. There's a Gemara which says that one of the, don't remember who it was, in Tanoim, they needed a minyan, there are 9 people. He took his Evet Kanaini and he freed his Evet Kanaini. When he freed his Evet Kanaini, he became Mechuyev b'mitzvahs, like a regular man. As Evet Kanaini, he's only Mechuyev and mitzvahs like a lady. When he freed him, he became like a mamash ager. Now he had some from a minyan. But he was over an Aveira, a mitzvah say of La'olam Behem Tavoidu. You know, the Toysis asked the Kasha right over there in the Sugya, by Rediyas Apas. And he says, how could it be? So he says, mitzvah the Rabbim shiny. A mitzvah of the Rabbim is different. But others have a problem. It's a mitzvah the Rabbim of the Rabbanon. Minyan is the Rabbanon. Others say, no. The chiyuv to have a minyan is the Rabbanon, but once you make a minyan, you have an ikdash b'soif and Yisrael. It's a kiyum of an essay. It's a big shakavatari about it. There were people that went to Russia. There were Yidden that went to Russia, tourists or different people that went to Russia, and they came to some places where people didn't have tefillin, and there's no tefillin in the city. And people told them, please leave your tefillin here. Leave your tefillin here. We don't have any tefillin. We have no way of getting tefillin. So Shiloh, should someone leave his tefillin there, he's going to go for a day or 2 or 3 without tefillin. On the other hand, the person there will have it for the rest of his life, and maybe a few people will have it there because they'll be able to share the pair of tefillin.
Wow, that's how they look at it. Who can take upon himself the responsibility?
This is all based on the sugya of this was discussed on all. This is a big shiloh when they went to Russia because there was only a certain amount of tefillin you could take with you to Russia. So they used to claim when a husband and wife will go as a pair to Russia to try to bring chafetzim of the chafetz kedusha to Russia, so the wife would also say she needs to put on tefillin. She should bring, and she also needs to have a tam, Sharab and Raiv. She's all dalad zugas at tefillin, so each one will come with a whole stack, and you can leave over tefillin there. You know, but
They would leave them all.
they wouldn't chatchil leave their own. But they would, the Shiloh would become if they came to, let's say, a city where there weren't tefillin. My shver was a sofer, so when he went to Russia in '87, so he went with Rabbi Vichnin, the father of Nachmedoi Vichnin over here, the Rabbi Yosef Mussaf's son-in-law. They went together to Russia. They actually were put into jail as soon as they came. And
Why?
no,
What did they do?
they were suspected of something about them, so they put them away for a day or something. They were instructed when they went. There was a whole special process. They sent shlichim there. They were told you don't talk in the hotel rooms because there's always bugs and everything. You only write, but writing, how do you destroy the paper? Everything's checked and they look. So they used to write on these things that you pick up the paper and it erases what you wrote, you know? And for the kids like to write in their papers that you erase. You had to go like spies over there, you know? And every part of them was full of wherever they could hide something, you know, to wrap up a mezuzah, a tefillin, and they had to do also when they came there. He was a sofer, he was instructed to write gittin for some people that need gittin, be waiting for a get. Who's going to make the get? And he came there, they went to a certain house there, and they were going to train in sofer. There were people learning safras there, but needed a sofer to train them. They came already, that whole table full of batim, and train the young chevra there that they should be able to
Build
Check through. Anyways, we're getting off track. So Lamaisa, that's a shaila to decide whether or not the Yochid is going to miss Shachris, but is there any fee? You have to know that sugi. There is svar to say. There's another svar to say. The Toysus brings two answers. One answer is mitzvah de rabbim, another answer mitzvah rabba shiny. A great mitzvah is different. The mitzvah mikdash b'soyich b'nei Yisrael that's accomplished through a minyan is even more important. It's a mitzvah rabbah. It's more important than a sama mitzvah lo'olam tavoidu. One mitzvah over the other mitzvah. There's another opinion which says that minyan that Tana was trying to make was a minyan for Parshas Zocher. Parshas Zocher is deraisa, and that's why the mitzvah he was able to be doicha the loisus of the essay of lo'olam tavoidu. Because for Parshas Zocher it's deraisa. It was a mitzvah derabim of a mitzvah that say deraisa.
So
why else do they have such a big hechrich to have a?
I don't know. It's a good thing in Nachar because if it's a shaila with it's the right, let's say it was Parshas Parah, then now we have another kasha. What about a suffix deraisa?
Some Rishonim hold Saka deraisa.
I know.
Depends which Rishon.
We don't know.
Right. Yeah. Weiter. Mutter litim achar tfilos shachris kohen tfilos musav. One is allowed to eat, meaning with kiddush, after one daven shachris before musaf. Kamoi shemutter litim kohen tfilos mincha mishagiyah zman. Just like you're allowed to be toyim before mincha. Zmachloikis heises. You're allowed to daven right after shach. You're allowed to have a kiddush right after shachris. The shaila over here is whether you're allowed to make a suda before musaf. Before a suda tefillah, and that's to have a suda. So like before mincha, you're allowed to. And the chilas peiris if you lahar b'kedisa alev or pas kabei v'liyesa. You're not allowed to have more than a kabeya of pas. Yes, you're not allowed to have more than 2 ounces of pas if you want to wash before musaf. Because that's already a suda gedola. B'vad sheyikadesh b'tchila v'yishter revius yayin. As long as you drink, make a kiddush and you drink a revius. Oh, yoichol kazayitz chamesh minach kiddush miyah. You see what he's saying here? You have 2 options of having kiddush b'makom suda. You can either make kiddush and then drink a revius wine. Drink a revius wine also substitutes as kiddush.
Suda.
As a suda. Kiddush b'makom suda, you drink a revius yayin, it's considered kiddush b'makom suda. Or yoichol kazayitz mechamesh minach, or have mezainis. Or have mezainis, so that will be the third. The next sif is a complicated sif. Complicated sif. Not nishta zoi negeya. We'll take a look quickly at it. What happens if, when is the earliest time for mincha? Mincha gedola starts half hour after chatzos. So what happens, you didn't daven musaf yet, it's already half hour after chatzos. Now you have, the zman of mincha arrived. Now you didn't daven musaf yet. What should you daven first? Mincha or musaf? Why should you think that you should daven musaf? What should be the shayla? Of course you should daven musaf first and daven mincha. That's true. But we're talking about a situation where you need to daven both tefillos now. Let's say you're going now to eat your suda. You want to go eat your suda. And you want to daven both tefillos now. So you have now a choice to daven musaf or mincha. What comes priority when you have them both in front of you? If you delay davening musaf and shigiyas man mincha neshei shoysamach. Sarich l'spal shemincha tchila. You gotta daven mincha first. The fee shehi tedira yoysim tefillas musaf. Chol Tadir is Chaveirei, Koidim is Chaveirei. Tadir v'shein Tadir Koidim. Even though we say L'chatchila Mussaf has to be before Mincha, that's why you didn't delay it. But now that you delayed it till Shas Mincha, and you right now need to daven back to back both tefillas because you're going to eat a meal now, and you want to daven back to back both tefillas. So now you have two right next to it. We have to daven what's more important. So we say Tadir v'shein Tadir Koidim. Even though in Inyan Karban Mussaf should be before Mincha because the Mussaf carbon was brought before the carbon Tamen Shalbein Habayim. It seems from here that that's not a strong enough reason because, like we said before, that's only l'chatchila you have to daven Mussaf before Mincha, but you have the yoytza with Mussaf after Mincha. So therefore, it's the concept of Tadir, v'shein Tadir, is more important, overweighs the idea of Mussaf being before Mincha.
Why is Mincha more?
Shatters a little bit of our perception that Mussaf always has to be before Mincha.
When the klal of Tadir, Shein, and Tadir, when that's given, right? It's not a question of it's a question of which one comes first, which one comes second. They're at the same time. But here the question of it's a little bit different over here because either if you Mussaf, right? You're saying make Mussaf a pasheya. Even if you delay mincha, it could still be a lechatchila. But you're saying over here, to make a Mussaf and turn it into pasheya in order to do tadir koidim. That's a very big thing.
Well, maybe he's an oinus. I don't know. Maybe he's an oinus, but I hear it. I mean the oinus, and the fact of pushing. You're saying is that really there's two things here. One is that you're going to end up davening Mussaf after mincha.
Right.
That's number one. You're doing b'diavad.
Right, that's all.
Number two, you're doing something you do becoming a pasheya because unless you're davening mamish right at mincha gedola, and maybe you'll have time to daven Mussaf right before the sheva shois, but it could be to the later time, the mincha gedola, right?
Or at least you're putting yourself in
It could be ready to later. Eina chanami. But it seems that Afal became what Kobe's talking about. You weren't a Peshay Lachatfila. Peshay, you were Ainus, whatever the reason was. A Shoygig Ainus, so it wasn't your fault. You weren't Dafka trying to. That's when the meeting started. Whatever the reasons were. So what the Madvan, this is what he says clearly. The Madvan Amorim Shetzorich Atul Spalstein. When is Halacha talking about you daven Mincha before Mussaf? When you need to daven both of them right now. Because you write to Lechel Seudah Gdoyle Ktana. When you want to go now to eat your Seudah Shabbos. It's a big Seudah, right? But also, you're not allowed to eat a big meal before Mincha. Hazai tzarech like dinim. Then you have to daven Mincha before Mussaf. I will make tzarech klal atul l'spala Mincha. If you don't need to daven Mincha now, I'm going to daven Mincha later on. I'm going to daven with a minion later on with the shul. You can daven Mussaf first. Mamed dvarim amorim. Once it gets complicated, I don't want to daven the giyaz ma'am mincha ktana. Sheikir tfilas mincha, but sheikir man is like dimacholinis. Here, the Alter Rebbe clarifies further. When do we say this din that you could daven Mussaf before mincha is only when it didn't come yet at the time of mincha ktana, I mean 9.5 hours into the day. Once it comes to mincha ktana, 9.5 hours, that's the ikar zman of mincha. Some people dafka don't daven mincha gdoil, they only wait for mincha ktana, they're makbid. It's a chumr in it. So that's the ikar zman of mincha. We're no ik to make for mincha gdoil, but some are machmer. Since that's the ikar tfilas mincha, there for sure you have to daven mincha first. B'cholinga means whether or not you have to daven both of them now at the same time or not. Once it comes to mincha ktana, it doesn't make a difference whether you're davening both now. Even if your plan is to daven mincha later, but you still have to daven mincha first, because now it's ikar zman mincha.
You have to also remember some of the shuls, Zisha Shtibel, might have their mincha later in the zman we keep. That would also apply, even though there's a Kabbaitic minyan and everything else. And we're talking about the first case. If that mincha which you have a minyan for is davening after the zman, maybe you can't be saying about it. Well, yeah.
Let's see. B'yei shoymrim. There's an opinion which says Shafilu koydem mincha ktana, so lahak the mincha b'chol inyan. Some say even before mincha ktana, no matter what, you always have to have a mincha. It's not a choice. The reality is we have here two opinions. Once it comes mincha katana, you hit 9.5 hours to the day. You didn't have a Mussaf yet for whatever reason. You have a chiv to have a mincha first. This is halacha l'maisa. You have a chiv to daven mincha first. We're talking about b'yichidus, by the way. We'll see later on, but tzibur is different. By a yachid, someone who's b'yichidus, davening privately, you're not supposed to do these shinuyim with a minyan. You're davening b'yichidus privately, it comes mincha katano, 9.5 hours to the day, you didn't daven Mussaf yet, you have to daven mincha first and then Mussaf. This mincha is more important than daven first. This came to Iker's man mincha. No matter what, it won't make any difference. Comes mincha doila, 6.5 hours a day. Here there's a machloikis. One opinion says it depends. If you need to daven both right now, because you're now going to a big Seudah, you're going out to Seudah, you need to daven both now, then you should tackle daven mincha first, because mincha is tadir. However, if you don't need to daven both now, so then you do Mussaf first and mincha you daven at a later time. However, there's an opinion that says that it's just like we say mincha ktana. That doesn't make a difference. Once it hits mincha ktana, you always daven mincha first. There's a shita which says as soon as it hits mincha gdoila, it doesn't make a difference if you need to daven both now or not. You always need to hit daven mincha first. Now if it came to mincha, you were a peshay, whatever your reason was, you didn't daven mincha Mussaf till now. Now it came to mincha gdoila, you can't push a mincha gdoila.
Why the mechalik being mincha?
Because every day of the year, they would bring the carbon tumid 9.5 hours in the day.
Before mincha.
9.5 hours into the day.
Right. So it's more solid, more.
However, Erev Pesach,
This once is the much.
Erev Pesach, so they used to bring it earlier because of carbon Pesach. But they didn't bring it 6.5 hours in the day. The reason it was 6.5 hours is when Erev Pesach Shechal, when Pesach Chal Li is b'Shabbos, Thursday Pesach, like it was this past year, right? And the year before. Pesach Shechal is b'Shabbos, so you want to do everything before night. You need everything to be ready. So we'll make them earlier when we bring the carbon tamid at 6.5 hours a day, because carbon Pesach is after the carbon tamid.
There's not enough time to it.
So you want to bring it earlier, so have everyone have enough time to bring it. So because Erev Pesach, when the Pesach Shechal is b'Shabbos, is 6.5 hours, therefore Mincha Gedoyel, you could also daven Mincha Gedoyel. Now, officially it's considered more of a b'diavad din, like it's be'iker's man is Tfilas Mincha Ktana. But the Maisa is that it's different Gedoyel Yisrael. Some were mekel l'chatchila to go Mincha Gedoyel. Some were mekel l'chatchila to Mincha Gedoyel. The Rebbe was mekel to daven Mincha Gedoyel because during the winter times.
Well, that was 3:15. Mincha was always 3:15.
That doesn't work with Mincha. That doesn't work now with Mincha Ktana during the summer.
Always.
It doesn't work out with Mincha Ktana.
The only time Mincha was later was.
There's some place, certain oilamis, certain minhagim is already dafke mach to only daven Mincha after Mincha Ktana. Others, Taina no, they could daven Mincha Gedoyel. Now, what's the halacha like? We should be concerned for the latter's words. I mean, the last opinion which says that as soon as it hits Mincha Gedoyla, no matter what, you always have to daven Mincha first. V'lizar b'yem kippurim, v'shekir b'yem kippur. Sha'amarichim etfilah shachar, if you daven a real long shachris, she'yaschilu Mussaf koydem sheisha mechza. Should start Mussaf before 6.5 hours of the day. Kedei shlo yitztarchu l'spal mincha k'tilu l'fi zvar zo. L'chatchili should be choishish, not b'diavad. L'chatchili should be choishish to make sure that you daven Mussaf before 6.5 hours of the day. When is this a real problem? The only time of the year this is a real problem is in Kippur, when you're davening so late, to make sure that Mussaf should be davened before 6.5 hours. Otherwise, because if it will come 6.5 hours, and according to this shita, you have to daven mincha before Mussaf. L'poil, we're not going to be do like that shita b'diavad. But l'chatchila, to be choish not to get into the situation. Well, nice, that's even a harder thing for Yom Kippur, to make sure that Mussaf.
Most of the shul are finishing earlier.
Mussaf, what time did he start in Mussaf Yom Kippur? Is all after Kriyas HaTorah and everything.
They always do it early.
Before
Before
Mincha.
Before Mincha Ketana, yeah.
No, Mincha no, before Mincha Gedoyla.
Before Mincha Ketana, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, most of the shul, yeah. 1:30.
You have to see when Chatzos is Yom Kippur time. Calculate a half hour after. It's around 12:30 this time.
Most of the shul are.
Okay.
Also, it's not early.
He says clearly, Mikol Mokin. Reason why I'm only saying L'chatchila, Im Ida Sheirichu B'Shachar D'Acha Sheish Mechza. If a ham was Yom Kippur, or whatever the situation was, whatever tefillah it was, they were davening Shachris till 6.5 hours into the day. Furthermore, even if what happened for some reason that Tzibur did not even daven Mussaf till Mincha Ketana, which we said l'chol days you have to daven Mincha before Mussaf once it reaches Mincha Ketana. However, since that's Tzibur over here, lo yispalu Mincha Tchila but Tzibur. In a Tzibur we don't do this. In a Tzibur you don't make such a strange thing. We don't want the oilam to mix up next time and think you daven Mincha before Mussaf. We don't do this in a tzibur. But the Lamaisa, the whole situation is not a regular situation. With a minyan, you never do this. It's only when you be yechidus, you're not davening with a minyan, and it came mincha g'dayla, or it came mincha ketana, when you had the whole shayla.
You think it be yechidus? He's a shliach in North,
right?
in South Dakota, right? And I think that's the only state which might not have a shliach. I'm not sure. Right, and there's no minyan. He's davening b'yachidus on Yom Kippur, and now comes the time. It seems like he should daven mincha before Mussaf.
Yeah. If it's mincha ketana for sure. If it's mincha gedoyla, we left off. That's machlokes. Alter Rebbe is not clear, and he has a whole kodesh acharami on the bottom. He's not clear whether it's only when you're going to daven both tefillas right now this moment, and then you make a decision what's tader's mincha. Or regardless, the Yesh Oimrim says regardless, if it's even just hits Mincha Gedoyla, you got to always daven Mincha first.
So it's not
I don't think the minig is like the second sheet.
That there is not machriya.
He's not machriya, but we have to see what he writes in his Kodesh Zachem to see which way.
I know that the Lubavitch Chassidim used to daven Baretus. They took the time. They never skip at that.
Also could be a Pikabala, so you're going to have to skip the daven. Someone is davening by Arichas Alent has other dinim. This is meant for regular Yidden. Regular Yidden.
Normal Yidden.
Special Chassidim have to have their own schedule, you know.
They more market than Shulchan Aruch than us.
Right, but they have their own schedule of different things, you know. The special heter doesn't apply to regular persons.
He said he had a conversation.
You start the middle of the conversation, and then you have a conversation, then all of a sudden you go to the beginning of that. That's like saying the answer before you say the question.
But yeah, you're allowed to daven mincha before. Mussaf.
But the guys, they'll run us after, or they'll not catch it, and then listen.
It's definitely not minaroi to do it.
They went to a meeting with somebody.
Al pi halacha it says, Al pi halacha you're allowed to do it. Al pi halacha and Shulchan Aruch, Alter Rebbe say you're allowed to do it. You come late to daven. We don't do it because two things. Number one, it creates a whole zilzal in davening, where a person can get used to the fact that I can come late to davening and skip parts of davening, and people can do this as a habit, can do this for years, you know, and it can become a very bad minig. So to prevent this bad minig from occurring, we just don't allow it. And number two, the Mekubalim don't agree with the Paskim over here. The Mekubalim hold you're not supposed to change the order of davening, because the order of davening represents four worlds, the four worlds of Asiya, from Hoidu till Baruch Shomer is the Olam Asiyah, the lowest world. Then you're lifting yourself up. After Pesach Zim until Yishtabach is the Olam HaYitzira. You're going into Kriya Shema's Olam HaBriya, the highest Olam HaTzilus you reach when you hit Shemana Esrei. And after Shemana Esrei you go down. Each step is down, yeah. You're going to Briya, Tzir Asiyah when you're coming back down from Shemana Esrei. So the Ma'isa, since Al Pi Kabbalah it's that way, so also you go down.
So in the Siddur, that's the
No, it's not from the Siddur, but it's something that the Rebbe brought out. It doesn't say this. Siman Reish Pei Zayin. Even Al Pi Nigla, a lot of people wrote against it because of the first reason. Not only the Rebbe, a lot of people, a lot of Gedolei Yisrael written that it's not a good thing. Wrote very sharp against this. A person always has to realize, a Manig Yisrael is always realize where something can lead to. Something could look like it's a heter, and it could be a legitimate heter. But the shaila is where the heter is going to lead to. It could be in a few steps the heter will come in Issa. So we have to know the human nature. So the Rav has to be very careful when he says something, even if it's legitimate. But could there become a pirza, a breach in Yiddishkeit from this heter? There are certain heterim, we don't say these heterim. We don't do these heterim. These heterim are not given. If you're a tzaddik, you know how to handle the heter. But someone else, we're worried sometimes, if it's a private person who has a shatat chak, and we don't know, we know that's not going to lead to any problem, we can give the heter. We have to be careful. Remember, the early reform started with legitimate heterim. The early reform movement started with legitimate heterim. The issue wasn't legitimate. The issue was the whole spirit was not legitimate. And the spirit was always looking to find, of the movement, was always looking to find loopholes, different heterim, which eventually went further and further.
Kula. That's why
Kula.
they are upset about this orthodoxy.
Correct. 100%. That's one of the big reasons. One of the big issues is where this movement, open orthodoxy, quote unquote, is really dangling at the edge over there, and we all know where that approach went. Anyone who stood at that time, the Gedolei Yisrael that were there 200-300 years ago saw what was going on, the same thing in that Tkufa, where people that were also Orthodox people, but were moving in that direction. Right? Conservative movement at its time. So the Manhigi Yisrael have to know where the Ruach Hadvarim is going. The Ruach is also very important. The Kavanah is very important. We have to know the Kavanah. Someone asks us, is this mutter? It's us, so we have to also know why he's asking. It's not always only the objective. Sometimes it's also subjective. You have to know where the person comes. The person's an erlich person, an honest person. He's asking an erlich shayla. You have to answer him. It's a time of need. But we see the person doesn't mean erlich, we don't answer him. We don't answer him. Because the words of the Rav will be used out, twisted against him, twisted against Torah.
I used to be on the radio show with the radio show. Lisa, vacations. So one guy said people that call you, they ask you certain things. And we're very careful. Most of the people that ask for the money, people who call it, I can see from the way the shot is going that the driver I tried to make, so we're getting a header on something else. I don't have to bring it up anymore. So
yeah, this is a Rav is always standing. A Rav who has to make a decision is every day standing on the line where he needs to call the shot. Where this shot, whether it's an appropriate thing or not an appropriate thing. So there's two things the Rav has to know. Besides for knowing the halacha very, very well, the as and the mutter, he also has to know what's appropriate. Yeah, you have to have what we call the fifth part of Shulchan Aruch. The chachma, the klug shaft, the chachma to realize. Aga, by the way, it's not enough to have the finif the chelik itself. Some rabbis out there rely just having the finif the chelik itself without the other four. You have to have both.
Yeah.
Now you say, makes sense to me. Now that's not, you don't have to know Shulchan Aruch very well. So you have to have it all together.
I remember we were reading there was a Roman Pesach got a question that the farmer asked him, I don't have money for wine, but I have money for milk. Can I make a kiddush on milk? He said, it's a good question. Go home and I will get your answer. He went to the kitchen, told his wife, send them milk, send them meat, send them fish, send them wine. That's the finish of Chorov.
Because one time one of the big Rabbanim, big Chassidish Rabbanim, was a Talmud of the Alter Rebbe, the Baal Tanya. His name is Reb Isaac Humler, from the city of Hummel, Gomel. So Reb Isaac, he wrote Sfarim also. So Reb Isaac was not only a big Baal Chassidus, he was a big Baal Poisik. So one time a Baal Hagola, a wagon driver, came to ask him a shayla. He was a very simple person. And he said as a shayla, he wants to know whether he could take in his wagon a grusha, a divorcee. Can he take her for a wagon ride to the next city? What was the shayla? The shayla is, it says in Torah that you're not allowed a kohen is not allowed to marry a grusha. He's a kohen, the Baal Hagola. He's not marrying her, but the word Lisa means not to carry. He thought maybe it's a problem, him being a kohen, to have her in his wagon, carrying the wagon. So he had a shayla by the Rav.
That's cute.
So you would think the Rav would start laughing. He didn't laugh. Because he was a simple person, he didn't want to ruin the person's sincerity. So he said it's a good question. And he looked inside, and he opened up some svarim, and after a few minutes he told them it's mutter. Because if he would have laughed, maybe the person would have said, I'm never going to ask the shayla again. And
You were embarrassed.
or I would have thought, all my questions are just narish, it's really all mutter. No, yeah, it's a good question. We're going to look into it.
Play it along with it.
Yeah. Simideish Pezai. Nichum Avelim Ubiker Choilim B'Shabbos. Page Reish Tzadikei. Mutter Levakir Choilim B'Shabbos. One is allowed to visit the sick on Shabbos. V'leyevakish Aleim Rachamim K'der Shoyim B'Choil. You're not supposed to ask for mercy on Shabbos from Hashem the same way you ask during the week. Like Hamokim Yerachim. Shaydei Bakoshes Rachamim Yer Bechi Ditzar. Because they're going to create, it's not a time to make tefillos of rachamim, because people start crying in pain about the sick. So try to comfort them to make them more happy. It's not a time to focus on the rachamim, how he needs so much rachamim.
The Cholech has a shchina on his bed, right?
Yeah.
So maybe when you go there, you ask rachamim on yourself. The shchina is right here. I'm going to ask for myself.
Not, don't tell him. B'Shabbos, you should start B'Shabbos.
You don't see.
Now, Shayoyim, you should say on Shabbos, Shabbos he milizik. This is how you should comfort him. You could say Shabbos he milizik. Shabbos a day when we refrain from calling out, from crying out, milizik. A refuah krevalave, and the refuah is going to come soon. Now, this is also what we say about the Mishaberach. The Gabbai and the Shul changes the Mishaberach for Choyla on Shabbos than from during the Choyla. During the week you say Mi Shaberach Havasenu Hu Yirape, heal. Shabbos you don't say heal, you say Hu Yivarich, bench. And then you say at the ending you say, instead of saying you should have it for Shleimel or Mache Varav Shesagidov, you say Shabbos Hi Melizek or for Krevelov. Shabbos day we don't cry out. And in four Krevelavim, in the four Mitzvah will come soon. Berachim of HaMerubim v'Shiftei b'Sholem. This is a phrase they used to say then, and Hashem has great mercy. You don't ask for mercy. V'Shiftei b'Sholem, He rests in peace. Some say you shouldn't say the word. You don't have to say the words Berachim HaMerubim. That's the minute we don't say the words Berachim HaMerubim v'Shiftei b'Sholem. We just say Shabbos in music before Krevelov. V'chein hashliach tzibur. Here he says what we said out loud. K'shemavarach hachoyle beis hakneses, when he makes the bracha for the sick person in the shul. V'ayim mishaberach lo yomer hamokim yishach refuah choli. He shouldn't say Hashem should send you refuah. Lo yomer Shabbos of a music refuah Krevelov. That's what you say on Shabbos. So you don't wish refuah shlema to someone on Shabbos. You don't wish a full shleima to someone on Shabbos.
What's the reason?
Because it caused him sorrow or something?
Yeah. we don't want to mention that need for refuah shlema. We don't want to bench people refuah shlema. It's not a time to talk about that the person's sick. We say there's going to be refuah coming. It's a fact. We don't want to discuss people are sick, need healing. It's not something, we don't want to mitzar the choilik. You don't have tzar on Shabbos.
I would think the opposite. Shabbos is a very special day. And a special day like this, I'm asking a for. Shabbos is very, very special, right?
The Menachem, but not that way.
Not Menachem.
But not in front of him, and not in front of the parent, not in front of the family members, the people that would feel more of a thing. We'd be more positive. Everything should be more on a positive note. Be positive.
Self-pity,
And not only for the person himself, even in shul. The person's not in shul, he's home, he's in the hospital. In the shul also, it's not a time we don't discuss rachum. We keep things positive on Shabbos and a happy note. Huh?
So what would one say when they meet a sick person?
Everyone uses their own words, but you could talk to them in general things. And if you want to bench him, say, Shabbos imelizik refuah kroy v'lovei. That's the statement. You're actually allowed to do nichum avelim on Shabbos. Comfort the mourners on Shabbos.
And they're not sitting. We're not sitting Shiva.
We're not doing
Because I never saw anyone do
No.
it.
No, they don't sit Shiva. They come, come to shul.
They do that on Friday night. The guys come after the
Before
Chol
Kabbalah Shabbos.
After
After Shabbos.
After Kabbalah Shabbos, after Meir or before after Kabbalah Shabbos?
After Kabbalah Shabbos.
But they don't sit down.
No, they don't sit
They don't
down.
sit down on Shabbos. But
Come into the shul.
There's two things. There's them sitting Shiva, and there's a fact. We don't say Shabbos. They didn't. No one was nifter. Someone was nifter. We don't make believe no one was nifter. Someone was nifter. You could api halacha, you're allowed to give him words of comfort in Shabbos.
I've been talking where in the shul Friday night, nothing. They outside there by breakfast or something. They walk
Motor loimer kedashomer b'choil hamoki minachemchem. You could say the same nusach like we say on the week hamoki minachem, the same lashon. Shaydei bakashos le'anachmasei lo ye'oyer bechi. By asking for his comfort, it's not going to create sadness. L'maiseh, l'chora people don't do it based on the fact that it is reminding the person of the tzar. So that could be why it's not halacha you have to. You're allowed to. So the olam, we know you don't do it. People don't do it because we know that the person is going to feel bad about it. Doesn't want people to bother him on Shabbos. Someone can come on to Shabbos and everything doesn't come on Shabbos. Now, interesting halacha. The kushi hitiru v'nachem avelim v'vakechoylim b'Shabbos. It was only with shverikait, with difficulty, the Chazal were matter to be menachem avelim and to visit the sick on Shabbos. Because these two activities are not activities that are going to create happiness on Shabbos. Thinking by a choyle, going to visit a choyle on Shabbos is not going to make Shema Yovel Tzari Moyim. Maybe you will also come to be pain with their tzar. It's not like those people who say a whole week, I'll do it on Shabbos. I'll go visit the choyle. No, during the week you should go visit the choyle. You have a choice. You're going to visit him anyways. So you have a choice during the week or Shabbos. Don't push it off to Shabbos. The opposite of the way the Welt thinks. The Welt thinks on Shabbos. If he doesn't have anyone with him Shabbos, he needs someone to accompany him, be with him in the hospital, okay? That's toiva for him. But what happens if he's okay? He's tended to on Shabbos. You just want to come and make a visit. Avdafke, better to do it. If you're not going to do it at all, do it on Shabbos. But if you're not going to, better not to push it off from the week to Shabbos. The weekday is a time when you deal with these type of things, sad things, things that could cause you also tsar. If it's for his gain, he wants you to come to see him Shabbos, so it's Pasha Toive, he needs help. He needs to come, he needs someone to comfort him. But otherwise, it's man to do these things is during the week. That's his man to do these things. Next week, we'll discuss Seudah Shlishis. We'll discuss first the dinim of Seudah Shlishis, and the whole Seder Shabbos about Shina b'Shabbos and Limud on Shabbos and then Seudah Shlishis.